So I'm an ER doctor and I got a story of the most disturbing patient encounter I've ever had. Many years ago, I was moonlighting in a hospital out of state and a gentleman came to the ER with a complaint that was quite odd. Now he was a little bit odd himself, but aren't we all sometimes? So I ask him, what brought you to the emergency department? Without hesitation, he tells me, Doc, I've got a crack pipe stuck in my butt. Now, I've seen it all. People put a lot of things in their rear end, from sex toys to vegetables, TV remote controls, beer bottles. Really at this point, nothing could surprise me. And a crack pipe didn't surprise me at all. So I asked him, what does it look like? And he said, well, it's made of glass and I use it to smoke crack.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Now I know this thing needs to come out, so I tell him, well, if it went in one way, it'll likely come out the same way. He nods his head, yes, and he says, well, Doc, do what you've got to do. So I have him prepare for the rectal exam and I prepare myself. I enter the room and the first thing I see is he's on all fours on the gurney on his elbows and his knees. Now a lot of people don't know the position that we do a rectal exam in, so it's not uncommon for somebody to be on their stomach rather than laying on their side. But this is the first time I've seen somebody on all fours. So I lube up my fingers and I start the exam. I'm 3 knuckles deep and I can't feel a thing. And I tell him, listen, I can't feel it. And he says, Doc, it's there. Let's get a CT scan and see, maybe it slipped higher up into the rectum. The CT scan was done, and when it comes back, they don't see any foreign body in his rectum. So I go ask him again, sir, are you sure there's a crack pipe in there? And he says, yes, Doc, I know I put it in there and I didn't take it out. So I tell him, okay then, well, we're gonna have to take a more invasive second look. And he looks at me and he says, if that's what it takes, Doc. So I pull out my trusty friend. This is an anoscope. It goes into the rectum, this part pulls out, and then hopefully you can see what's inside. So I insert the anoscope and I start to take a look and I still can't see anything inside this guy's rectum. Doc, it's in there. I can't feel it, I can't see it, but he swears that it's in there. In one final attempt, I grab a vaginal speculum.
Say hello to my little friend!
Now, you women know how uncomfortable this thing is. Imagine it going in your rear end.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
So I stick the speculum in and I crank the handle all the way open. When I do this, he lets out a big sigh. I look through the vaginal speculum, there's nothing inside there. I look back up at the patient and I say, sir, there's no crack pipe in here, is there? He looks down at me and he says, I'm sorry, Doc, I must have left it somewhere else. Now he knew there was no crack pipe in his bum, but he left the emergency department with a smile on his face. If you guys like that story, please check my other story tagged at the end of this video.